This conference will now be recorded.
I'm still watching for it, Della.
Okay, that's pretty big, so it might take
Okay.
a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
There, I did a refresh on my end, so.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get the ball rolling. Welcome everyone to Renville County HRA EDA's monthly lunch and learn. Again, due to the pandemic, we are doing this in an online format only today. Hopefully, according to the governor, things will start easing here next month and into July. So perhaps we're going to do it online again in June, and then maybe we'll get back to doing things in person in July. Knock on wood, hoping for the best on that one. But that's our best guess as we are at least here today. I just want to note that we are recording today's presentation, not for any nefarious purposes by any stretch, but we like to record these, put them on our website. We get lots of folks watching these that aren't able to make it during the day for one reason or another. So know that that's kind of the reason for that. So with that, we'll get the ball rolling. We've got two great speakers today. I don't know if either of you ladies have a preference of going first or need to split for another meeting or anything like that.
No, I can actually stay a little longer as well, Jordan, so not a problem. I am Della Lud. Yeah, did you want us to just go ahead and get started as Stephanie pulls it up? Otherwise, Stephanie, feel free to use the old one as well.
Yeah, it's not coming through yet, so I'm going to re-pull up the old one. I'll share it in 1 second.
No problem.
So
There's
our
just a
first
couple little minor changes.
It's all good. So our first speaker is Della Ludwood. She's the workforce strategy consultant for the state of Minnesota's Department of Employment and Economic Development, or DEED for Central Minnesota. She assists in developing innovative workforce solutions by aligning resources, facilitating collaboration, and leveraging her experience in targeted industry sectors to drive workforce diversity, equity, and growth. Della started in this business when she was 5 years old. She has over 15 years of human resource experience in the private sector and now with the state. She loves to develop recruiting and social marketing strategies for business as well as companies in meeting their strategic goals, especially when it comes to recruitment, training, and retention. So with that, we'll turn it over to Della. Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And I'm also being joined by Bridget Paulson from Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services. So again, thanks for participating today. Obviously, it's a very tight job market right now. And we wanted to just talk with Renville employers and the community of Renville about some of the things that they can be doing to recruit, train, and retain that workforce during these challenging times. So we can go to the next slide. So that's just a little bit more about me and my team. You can see I'm in the green in the center. There's two shades of green. One represents the Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services, their 11 counties, and then the two additional counties of Career Solutions, which is Stearns and Benton counties. This is the region that I cover. And I assist, like Jordan had said, assist businesses and communities with workforce strategy. So if you have any questions or concerns or anything with your workforce or how you're going to move forward, definitely feel free to reach out. And next. And
Hello,
Bridget.
everybody. Hi, I'm Bridget Paulson. I'm with Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services. I'm a business service coordinator. CMJTS is a partner with the Career Force system. It used to be called the Workforce Center, but the state has rebranded Workforce Center to Career Force. And so that's what they're all called now across the state of Minnesota. I serve Meeker, McLeod, Candy, Ojai, and Renville counties, businesses, but our CMJTS footprint is 11 counties all the way up there into Pine. So that's the footprint that also Della serves. So we work together a lot with businesses to help them with workforce development. CMJTS has funding available that we can offer businesses, and that we work with job seekers that also has support services that we can offer to help people find jobs. We're also a part of large and small scale job fairs in all the communities that we serve. And we are currently working on putting together a Renville County hiring event in August with Jordan and the EDA. So we'll be reaching out to businesses to have them be a part of that, and also to local job seekers that are looking for work.
All right, so we're gonna hop into the agenda now and kind of discuss some of the information that we're gonna be going through today. So as you can see, we're gonna be talking about the labor market information, the barriers to employment, the untapped or that hidden talent pool, and resident recruitment, and then just thinking outside the box when you are recruiting and hiring. And then talking about company culture, and then ending with the resources that are available for you. So Minnesota is one of the top 5 states with the lowest unemployment rate and the top 5 highest for labor force participation in the nation. So both really good statistics. You know, we have a very high work ethic within our state. And again, you know, our unemployment is low right now. It's at about 4.5%, which is very similar to what it was prior to COVID. In Renville County, it's a little higher. It's about 5.9%, but we'll go into some of those details as we move forward. But our goal today is to assist employers with the information on how to reach out to these pockets of job seekers that have higher levels of unemployment, and offer recruitment and retention tools to create an inclusive workforce. Bridget?
Yeah,
Oh,
are we
that's
going
me too.
What?
Sorry, sorry, Bridget.
That's okay.
I was already looking at the next slide. So when we're looking at these county statistics, you can see that the labor force participation in Renville County is about 64.5%, and 5.9% of unemployment rate, like I had said, is 4.5. So 65.8% of those living in the county work in the county. So you have about 34% of people who live in the county but then work elsewhere. The cost of living is $13.25, and the older median age, it has a little bit of an older median age, which is 43, where the state is at 38. It's 90% white, and 88.6% have at least a high school diploma, which is actually really good. The median household income is about $57,000, and then the largest job openings are in healthcare, social assistance, accommodation, food services, and public administration. And it is a slower moving county, or slower growing, county, at 83 out of 87. And I'll go ahead now, Bridget, you can talk.
Thanks, Stella. So understanding barriers to employment. There are common things that people face that get in the way of them being able to get a job or keep a job. We have some of them listed here. What you need to do is get to know your community and what barriers your community is facing. It can be housing, it can be maybe lack of childcare, or lack of employment for a spouse. Maybe somebody lacks their high school diploma or GED. Their mental health, addiction, and maybe a criminal history are all barriers that people have to overcome to get back into the workforce. Domestic violence, the welfare cliff, where maybe somebody's receiving assistance from the county, but having to get a job and lose your health care and lose your food stamps is really scary for some families. So helping those people see the long-term benefits of getting off of that assistance. So what some businesses are doing is they're working together with their communities to be aware of the barriers that their job seekers and the people in the community are facing. So some businesses are setting up nonprofit community daycares. Some nursing homes are turning some of their wings or rooms into apartments for people that may be doing seasonal work or can't find affordable housing in the area. Some people have English as a second language or don't have their GED, and so businesses are providing those resources to people to get their GED or to improve their English. They're rewriting their job description. So instead of saying you must have a certain number of years of experience, maybe changing it to preferred, because that might be putting people off to apply for your position because they don't necessarily have all the skills you're looking for, but are certainly teachable and trainable. Businesses are offering flexible schedules, they're offering tuition reimbursement, and even transportation and carpooling is so important in the rural counties because there isn't public transportation. So how can we assist our local communities with getting transportation for people to get to work? And then to just keep in mind that education level and skill level are different. You can have your CDL, you can be a nursing assistant and not have your high school diploma. So having that be required on a job description might be keeping some of those folks from applying as well. So be a part of your community and see what your community is doing to assist the people there and be a part of the growth to get the job seekers to your business. So we'll go to the next slide, which is talking about the untapped talent pools. There are a lot of people out there.
Guys, I didn't do a formal introduction for Bridget.
That's okay.
Did I give you a formal introduction a moment, Bridget? I apologize.
That's okay.
So Bridget Paulson is a business service coordinator with Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services. She serves a wide swath of central Minnesota, including Renville County. And CMJTS provides quality and individualized training services for in-demand and growth occupations. Bridget has several years of experience in working with local businesses and job seekers from diverse populations, identifying business and career goals while maintaining relationships for long-term success. She's passionate about making connections that strengthen the communities and the businesses served by CMJTS. So my apologies, Bridget, for not introing you, but awesome job.
That's okay, Jordan. Thank you for that. And I am passionate about connecting businesses with their communities and people in their communities that need to work. And one thing to think about is that untapped talent pool. This population has the highest unemployment and get the lowest wages. So these are people who might be immigrants or dislocated workers, meaning maybe they're unemployed or are off of unemployment. They're underemployed, so maybe they're working, but they're not making enough money to live. Young adults, CMJTS has a youth program, and we work with young adults up to age 24 to get them into career pathways. People that need a second chance. People make mistakes, people get incarcerated, but they come out and they want to rejoin life and rejoin the community, and being open to having a conversation with somebody about where they come from and what their experience is, to see if they could get a second chance. Older workers, it's very healthy for older people to be active and working, and so maybe providing opportunities for older workers to work part-time or do duties within your business to get them working and also get you the help that you need. Veterans, vocational rehabs, and state services for the blind. And these are just, some of the diverse populations that we serve and that you should be also looking at in order to fill your open positions. We're working with Della and Deed to create an inclusive workforce employer designation for businesses to provide services and resources and training to help upskill the current work culture to be more diverse and be more open to diversity. So that'll be something that you'll be hearing more about later today, but also it will be a big push through Della and I in the coming months.
All right, so we're going to talk about that first hidden talent pool of immigrants. And before we do that, I just want to give out a little bit more statistics. I'm kind of a little geek with this. So Renville County actually suffered a negative natural increase from 2010 to 2019, which means there's more deaths than births. So it also is expected or has experienced net out migration, meaning more people have moved out of the county that have moved in. So in 2018, 79% of the 5.6 million population of Minnesota is white. By 2038, Minnesota's population is expected to be 6.4 million, but 65% will then be white. So you can see that we're transitioning more into a diverse culture within the state of Minnesota. So basically every race and origin is expected to increase in the state of Minnesota, except for the white population. And so this is why this is really important for employers to understand that they need to diversify their workforce. And by doing that, they can reach out to these different types of resources to assist them with filling some of the positions that they have available. So in Renville County, the second largest group behind the white population is actually Hispanic and Latino origin. So I put some different types of resources together for employers to be able to reach out to discuss their hiring needs and to see if there's any assistance available with filling them with these different resources. So the first one is Clues. They're actually out of Minneapolis, but they have an office in Wilmer. And Clues is Minnesota's largest Latino-led nonprofit organization. And not only do they focus on Latino, but they also are focusing on the Somali and other origin race and races. So their work is to ensure the advancement of social and economic equity and well-being throughout Minnesota. So again, Clues does have an office in Wilmer, and they have one in Austin as well. There's also quite a few other ones listed here. Another great group to reach out to is the Southwest Adult Basic Education, and we also call it ABE quite a bit. So in that regional partnership, that is between the school districts that are assisting adult learners who are 17 and older and are not currently enrolled in a regular school program. They can assist people who are looking to improve their basic reading, writing, and math skills and earn their GED diploma, or even just finish their high school credits. They can also use it to improve their English language skills and learn more about different types of career opportunities. Again, that's another great group for you to be reaching out to. The last one that I'll mention is the Lutheran Social Services Lutheran Social Services and Refugee Services. That is also another great group. There's other ones listed there, but if this becomes too overwhelming, because we're going to be giving you quite a few resources, we did prioritize them in the order of importance that we felt would be most useful for you. And next.
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. So dislocated workers, this is a population that CMJTS works with a lot. So somebody that goes on unemployment are then required to go to the Minnesota State Job Bank, which is called minnesotaworks.net. And this is a place where businesses can also register and post their openings. And they also can access the resumes that the job seekers are uploading to identify talent that you could call yourself to see if they're interested in an open position that you might have. So, and also then with the careerforcemn.com, that's a new website with the new rebranding, and that has a tab just for employers where you can use for resources to attract, develop, and retain employees. You can also find the local career force locations to your business. And then there's also a link on the screen where you can post if you are having like a hiring event and you wanted to in your community and you wanted to just get the word out so people come to your hiring event to promote your open positions. So those are great resources, minnesotaworks.net, and then also CMJTS website. Career Solutions is a partner of CMJTS. They serve the St. Cloud area. So we all work together to provide services to our communities. And Avivo is just another local nonprofit that works with people that have barriers to employment. So there are resources out there and places to find dislocated workers. And if you have any questions or concerns about minnesotaworks.net, you can contact me and I can help walk you through how to register as a business.
All right, so with underemployed, underemployment is defined as not having enough paid work or not doing work that makes full use of a person's skills and abilities. That is what we are discussing today with these underemployed positions. Some of the hardest positions that we're hearing for employers to fill are those positions that are between that $14 to $20 an hour. It's not the person who is just starting out in a career, and it's not the person with several years of experience. It's that in-between stage. And how do we help those employees feel that they're not underemployed, or help them help us fill those positions? So people who have been in the workforce and attained skills are usually not willing to move laterally or backwards for a new position. And within that range, that's what some people feel that they would have to do to start in another career. So we have gone ahead and listed some different programs and grants available throughout the state of Minnesota that are available for employers to set up and fulfill some of those positions that they have. So the first one is with DEED, and that's the Minnesota Job Skills Partnership Program, or the MJSP. This DEED, this is again one of DEED's programs where participating businesses partner with a Minnesota educational institution, and they are offered grants up to the amount of $400,000 and they work with that educational institution to develop and deliver custom training on specific business needs. The second one is Jobs Training Incentive Program, or we refer to it as JTIP. And this is another one of DEED's programs. The nice thing about this program is this is for greater Minnesota, outside of the 7-county metro area. So this again is another one of DEED's programs, and this is a grant up to $200,000 awarded directly to the business for providing training and businesses. They do need to be hiring or adding at least 3 new jobs for this, and they do need to be making equal to that median wage for Renville, which is $18.60 an hour. The next program is the dual training, or the pipeline program. That is also that is actually through the Department of Labor and Industry, and this is where the employer invests in the employee by providing training in a competency-based work skills and related instruction. So the employer can get up to, or the grantee can get up to $150,000 a year, or up to $6,000 per trainee that is in this program. The deadline for that grant actually just closed, but they'll be opening that again in the fall. And then I also put on here the Minnesota Apprenticeship Initiative, and that is through the Department of Labor and Industry as well. This is another opportunity for employers. They can receive up to $5,000 per apprentice to help cover costs, including apprenticeship related supplies, materials, instructions, as well as infrastructure. So another great program. I did list on here the work opportunity tax credit. If your company is not taking advantage of that, this is a program that's been in place for several years. It's a very easy program for you to easily attain, and basically any person that is hired, they fill out a form, and they then, if they qualify, you get a state credit or a tax credit for hiring that person. So again, that link is there as well, and that's called the WOTC, or the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program.
Wonderful. I want to talk a little bit about Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services and what we can do for businesses and what we do for job seekers. We have a team of employment specialists that have a caseload of job seekers or people that are in training, college training. And then we also have a business services team that works with local businesses, because our goal is to bring those two entities together, the businesses and the job seekers, to promote growth. So once a person is enrolled with Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services, they have funding available to support them in their job search. And one of the things that we can offer through them as a candidate, they're eligible for on-the-job training funds, which means as they apply and interview for a position and are offered a position, we enter into an on-the-job training for their initial training weeks. Could be anywhere up to 12 weeks. where 50% of that person's wage is reimbursed back to the business in order for the business to provide the resources to train that person to get to the skill level required for the position you hired them for. So it's a way for you to give somebody that maybe is changing careers or doesn't have all the skill sets available for the position, but you are able to train them, and you're getting resources in the form of funding back from Central Minnesota Jobs and Training because you hired that person and you are willing to train them. So that's a real added bonus, I think, for businesses and for job seekers. And in addition to that, if somebody's enrolled with CMJTS, we're also helping them on the backside with, interview clothes, work boots, helping figure out where their daycare is going to be, all those things that we're there partnering with that job seeker to help them be successful at your business. In addition to that, we have what's called an incumbent worker training, and this is available for your current employees that you want to partner with a local vendor, maybe like Bridgewater College, and you create a training plan to upskill your current employees. And this is to help them to keep and retain them, because that's how you keep your good people, is by giving them opportunities for promotion and growth, also to avert a layoff, or improve the economic competitiveness of your business. So incumbent worker is a great program for businesses that they can access funding to help pay to train and upskill their current employees up to $25,000. So again, if you have any questions or concerns, we help you get a training plan together through a local training vendor, Bridgewater College, Enterprise Minnesota, whatever, and it can be anywhere from the people in the office to the people on the floor. And each one of those employees of yours gets a training plan put together to help them grow. And CMJTS can help pay for some of those training costs through our incumbent worker. And the other program that we offer is called a work experience. And we do this a lot with the youth program. And it's basically like a paid internship where we have a young adult and we partner with a local business. And that young adult goes to that business and they work alongside their staff to figure out what the job is, to gain basic work readiness skills. So that business agrees to train them. But that student or that young adult is actually an employee of Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services. We cover wage and workman's comp. We help them if they need gas money to get to work. And then you agreed to train them in temporarily and part-time. So it's a great way to get, especially those young adults, into some career pathways. And also, if you're working with somebody and they're doing a work experience at your business and you want to hire them, you certainly can, but you're under no obligation. So those are just some of the great programs that CMJTS has to offer for local job seekers and businesses. Go to the next slide. So again, like I said, we work with the youth program, and there are resources out there for your businesses to connect with local youth. They're graduating soon, and some of them don't know what they're going to do next. So we're here to connect what's going on in your business and what open positions you have, and the local high school career class, and what we can do to help get those kids into some of your positions. So this is a list of some resources. The Launch Your Future Today, the LIFT grant, is actually funding that schools can get in order to help kids get into career pathways in career and technical education. So they can partner with local businesses. So it's really important to talk to your local high schools and their career classes about the kids that are looking for work. There's also Ignite Your Future, which is through Bridgewater College. We have the CMJTS Youth Program, and just some other resources there. But connecting with local school districts, teachers, and counselors is key to really finding and feeding that pipeline of new employees for your business. Next slide, please.
All right. So the slide we threw in there just to show you that there's really no wrong route for the youth or people who are in high school to get into the career pathway. So Renville's youth labor force participation for the age of 16 and 19 years old is 52.9%. They also have the highest unemployment rate of any other group, which is at 11.7%. Now, just because they are in that unemployment rate doesn't mean that they're collecting unemployment insurance. It just means when we talk about that unemployment rate, that means that they are seeking a job. So again, that 16 and 19-year-olds is 11.7%. It is also followed by the 20 to 24-year-old group at 6.4% unemployment. So students need to understand that all career pathways are successful. On average, 2/3 of high schoolers go to college, but what happens to those other 1/3? And how are we recruiting and attracting them to career pathways? Also, not everyone completes college or ends up working in the degree or certification that they received. So that number is much higher than that 1/3 that we can be recruiting and attracting. And next. So now we're going to switch over to talk about the second chance. More and more businesses are considering the idea of second chance employment, which is hiring individuals with a criminal record. Employers benefit by having highly motivated and eager talent pool by individuals hungry for a second chance and willing to do what it takes to get the job done. Here are a few programs that we recommend reaching out to in your region. One of them is the New Leaf Employment Program. And then what they do is they actually teach and assist offenders by teaching them lifelong skills, providing clothing and support, and also providing transportation for them. Twin Cities Rise is another great program, and they work with companies to find the right participants for their open positions. Their coordinators use specialized interview methods and assessment to select candidates who will meet your specific needs. We also have a few other programs listed on there, and I also have an email, one of this from the St. Cloud Correctional Facility, if you wanted to reach out to him directly about some of the other options and programs that are available. Next slide. So the older workforce. Baby boomers are retiring in droves right now. And how do we keep them in the workforce and allow some flexibility and succession planning during this process? Hiring these staff with this experience and allowing them to work part-time or seasonally are great benefits to the employer, and they can fill a void even if it is just part-time. Here are a few programs that are available in our region that you can reach out to and discuss some of that succession planning, as well as filling some of your positions with the older workforce. And next slide. So veterans. 20 years ago, veterans used to have the highest unemployment rate of any other group in Minnesota. Now it is one of the lowest. With the programs that we have put together and helping veterans translate their military skills to employers' needs, hiring a veteran can result in a dedicated employee who already has developed valuable teamwork, leadership, and job skills. Again, here's a bunch of resources available to you to reach out to that specific group. Including the Veteran Resource Services at Career Force. MACV is a great program. That's the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. That is a nonprofit organization that helps veterans or that are at risk of becoming homeless, as well as their families. And then we have the St. Cloud VA is a great resource for you. And again, that work opportunity tax credit is available for veteran when you hire veterans. And next.
So vocational rehab services and state services for the blind, those are state-run programs that work with people that have barriers to employment, but they also have funding and assistance to help those people make workplace accommodations, carve out job duties that might be where their skill set is at, and there's resources available to the person and to the business to make that partnership successful. So these are just a list of resources of different places that work with job seekers that might have barriers to employment. And even people that are on Social Security and Social Security disability, those people can work and still get their benefit. And some of those people want to work off of that benefit. And we are on the backside with those job seekers, helping them achieve those goals and trying to work with businesses to identify the strong skills that they have to bring to an employer. So this is just another list of resources for you to reach out to people in this talent pool that are not being accessed.
So diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've heard a lot about this, especially over the last year. The biggest thing with this is that culture and empathy. They're the two huge pieces that will then lead to a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workforce. And that is part of your culture. So one of the programs that we're starting in Central Minnesota is called the Inclusive Workforce Employer Program. And this initiative, our goal is to reduce the disparities by raising awareness of the values in diverse, equitable, and inclusive work environments through the creation of an inclusive employer designation program. So employers can go through this program with our assistance and training and become an IWE, or Inclusive Workforce Employer designated employer. We also have a few other resources on here about Welcoming America Resource Library, the Rural Communities Equity Action Guide, and then Ridgewater also has a Multicultural Resources Guide. And then there's a great book that you can reference. What if I say the wrong thing? 25 Habits for Culturally Effective People. Next, we'll talk about resident recruitment. Rural or greater Minnesota has a tough time keeping their youth in the communities. One of the first things we say to a high schooler or somebody who is graduating is where they're going to go to college, which basically means that what we offer here in our community isn't good enough. You need to move on, go elsewhere to be successful. More than 2/3 of people leave small towns and go to suburban areas, specifically to the metro, because they feel they have more opportunities. So what can we do in our area to create a community that encourages youth to stay and become successful? And how do you sell your community to these newcomers? Many of the factors of newcomers cite for choosing a new place or moving back to the smaller areas or greater Minnesota is through tourism. It's one of the best ways for you to do that resident recruitment. You need to sell your entire community when you're marketing yourself as an employer and making sure that your potential job seekers are aware of all the different resources available to them. And a lot of communities have even started a resident recruitment community outreach program. And I have a map on here that shows you some of those communities that are doing that. But you can see that newcomers choose rural life, obviously for a simpler pace, for safety and security, and their money goes further. So they can choose a larger house and probably with the education for their children, be more successful. So think outside the box. With this, we just put together a bunch of different things that employers can be doing when they are posting their jobs. So how do you stand out from everybody else that has a help wanted ad so you don't get lost? What is the tagline that you're using in your ads that creates questions and shows opportunity to those people to entice them to actually apply for your position over another? If you list a bunch of must-haves or preferred experience, that is putting a lot of pressure on someone who maybe doesn't have that specific experience but has similar skill sets. So focus on the skills rather than the preferred experience. Have you tried creating some sort of tagline or something that is a myth buster for your industry? Manufacturers really struggle with the dark, dirty, and dangerous. So changing that around, if, obviously there's a lot of manufacturers who are focusing on healthcare or food, You know, saying something like, so, you know, it's so clean here, we can eat off the floor. Or how about with no experience preferred? So you're kind of doing that double negative or changing it around, that thought process that causes people a little bit more of an interest to entice them to learn more about the position. Bridget, did you have anything you wanted to say with this one?
Yeah, I think as part of it is you just have to think outside the box. Look around. I've seen job postings on top of the pump at the gas station. Or I know Della shared that there was in Paynesville, they had a business was advertising that they were hiring, but they were also advertising that there was housing available in the area because there was an apartment building that was there. So thinking outside the box, seeing what's in the community that you serve and what resources are available, connecting with local tourism to sell your community as a whole and help keep those kids in the community that just want to work. So connecting with the high school and the counselors, even sending them information or putting together tours where high schoolers can come in and see what you do in that building and what sort of the work environment it is.
Excellent. And then employer benefits. So what is the number one or the best benefit you can offer or give to your employees? It's time off. Time off is an emotional benefit tied to family and friends with immediate gratification. If you offer more time off than your competitors, it helps keep people in their positions, and especially if you're upon rough times or other opportunities become available, they'll stay with you knowing that they have better benefits, including more time off. Can also be used as a referral bonus. So if you're hiring new people and you have a referral bonus, instead of paying cash or money that's just blended into their paycheck, it is also a great benefit just to give them time off or additional days off that they can use. SHRM, which is the Society for Human Resource Management in 2016, also stated that employees have said over and over that their number one benefit is time off. Time off also needs to represent the years of experience when you're hiring employees. So again, if everybody who starts as your employee, whether they have 0 years of experience or 20 years of experience, start at 1 week of vacation, that isn't always fair to the person with all those years of experience. So make sure that you're really looking at your benefits and that they represent that skill set and that experience that you want to hire. And survey says, so favorite benefits. So Southern Minnesota's local chamber, one of the local chambers recently has done some surveying with the local college graduates. And the surveys is still ongoing, but you can see that the rates, what rates the highest, and again, it's paid time off. There's also quite a few others listed there, so it's a great reference for you to make sure that you're in checks and balance with this. Next, the success stories. So I just put on here a few different companies that are doing some really cool things in the community. And again, they're thinking outside the box. What makes them different than other companies? So Horizon Roofing actually does a 1-week free training in roofing, sheet metal, and service positions. After this week of training, obviously they're watching these job seekers, they're working with them. They then offer jobs for them starting at least $18 an hour. They also built this traveling career fair trailer that is in the picture due to COVID, that they can take this to different locations and career fairs and still meet with people under the COVID guidelines. Mitke is a company in Hutchinson, and what they do is they do a paid day-long interview. So job seekers can see the culture and understand the job that they're being asked to do prior to accepting the position. Career Solutions, St. Cloud Education ABE, and Coleman all work together and put together a program for people for English as a second language and people that were trying to build upon their language as well as their education. So they forged this partnership to create an educational and job training program. People worked 4 hours a day, and then they were in training for 4 hours a day. The training was based on their adult basic education. So it could have been reading, writing, math, and arithmetic. And they got paid for an 8-hour day, even though they were working in the shop only 4 hours. So this was a very successful program, and it continues to grow. Cargill is also listed on here. They worked with Career Solutions, and they filled over 30 open positions by putting together an English as a second language program with the Somali population. One that I didn't list on here, this one's a new one, was Anderson Trucking Services. They do a coffee and career event a couple times a year where people can just drive through, grab a caramel latte and a donut, and learn about the opportunities that are available within the company. They also do an RSVP to this event, and they had 20 new potential applicants that signed up to come to the event and get their free coffee and learn about the careers. Next one is company culture, and I touched on this a little bit already. One of the first things businesses need to do is really evaluate their culture. And one of the simplest things that you can do is do a survey to your employees. Company's mission, vision, and values, and the interaction with the public and with the employees, their benefit package, pay scale, training, are all part of your culture. Your culture needs to represent the current and future employment issues. And you should also make sure diversity, equity, and inclusion are part of your mission, vision, and values. Remember, your culture is your brand, and that's what you are selling to the employees and to your community. Your culture is who you are, and if it isn't positive or you don't even know what it is, you need to build it. And people need to believe in it.
All right, resources. We've given you guys a lot of information today and a lot of links to different things, but just know that this is just the beginning of the conversation. We're here to help you with your particular problems with recruitment or retaining or hiring events or any of that. So I just want you to hopefully take away some of these resources. And also I want to ask Stephanie real quick to put, there's a survey link. Can you put that in the chat box now so we can, yeah, share that with everybody. So the resources include Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services, careerforcemn.com, Deed labor market information. You can look up to see what the prevailing wage for a welder is in your location and make sure that you're being competitive with your other businesses in your area. And then connecting to your local high schools, finding those new job seekers, those new kids that are graduating high school and looking for the next thing in their life. And then also the work opportunity tax credit. So if nothing else, walk away knowing that you have these resources available to help you to be successful. And then we have the survey that we put in the chat box. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're struggling with. We want to be able to connect. So you have there's a couple of questions, and then if you want Della and I to reach out, please give us your contact information. And then we have a couple minutes left, so we're here to answer any questions that you might have.
We'll
Any
definitely
questions?
be sending. Oh, sorry, Jordan. I'm just kind of reading them too as they pop up, but we'll definitely be sharing this slide deck with participants. So you have the resources available at your fingertips. If you could take a minute or two and complete the survey, both I and Stephanie shared that link, which is a SurveyMonkey link for you to complete the survey. I did see somebody say something about one of the links or one of the programs that we mentioned has changed, and that information is in the chat line as well. Any other questions?
I have a question to ask. Something that you said really kind of just has stuck with me. about employers looking at what they're offering for vacation or PTO time, and that to consider. Have you made that suggestion to employers, and what is their response? Because I can feel like they might say, well, that's not fair, or, you know, I think other employees worry too much about what other employees are getting or making. So I'm curious about what kind of feedback you've had from that.
We've had actually really good response from it. If they're changing that entry level, you know, starting vacation time, obviously they do an adjustment throughout the entire, you know, company to make sure it is fair. Now, if they're using it as a referral bonus, everybody has that opportunity to give those referrals. So, and then the employer still has the choice of when a person uses that time off. It's a way for you to reach not only the employee, but their family and friends, right? Because if all of a sudden that person has another Friday off and they say, yeah, because I referred somebody, everybody's like, no way, that's super cool. And just another way to help market your company.
Sure.
But we've had really good success with people really looking at that and deciding to increase their paid time off. People are more.
I also seem to notice more and more companies are going to an unlimited type of, I mean, obviously you have to get your work done, you have to meet certain things, and certain positions that model doesn't work. But I seem to see that it's kind of the California model finally making its way here.
Right, especially if it's a salaried employee and there's a certain expectation of certain amount of work to get done. If you can get your work done in 7.5 hours instead of the full 8, obviously, you know, that's a benefit for the employer and for the employee. Obviously, it needs to be, you know, supervised and managed as well. But yes, more flexibility, and we've seen that a ton in this last year, especially with a lot of people working from home and still getting their job done or even doing a better job because they have more flexibility. So some of the employers that are on the line, I'd like to hear what positions they have open and what they feel that they need to help fill those positions. So you can either use the chat line or just share it vocally or within the group.
Hi there, this is Brandon with K&M Manufacturing in Renville. Can you hear me?
Hi, Brandon.
Hi. Yeah, we've been looking for more staffing, more employees the last probably 12 months. Our production areas and our welding and fabrication areas are in most need. We've tried to utilize, you know, Indeed online, going through temp services, things like that. Is there other things? I know you listed several different links throughout this presentation, but resources that we can, you know, try to attract, you know, maybe not so much qualified employees, because we will and are willing to train, you know, new you know, people. But is there other ways that we could attract? Because I know it's very competitive, especially, you know, Renville County and in other counties surrounding Renville County, especially in the fabrication, welding areas. But yeah, we are looking for, you know, production, assembly, as well as fabrication.
That's a great question, Brandon. How many employees do you currently have at your workplace?
Right now, we probably are right around 60.
Okay, and how many openings do you have?
I would say at this time, you know, we'd be willing to hire, you know, between 6 and 10 employees.
Sure.
And it's
If
a
they
mix
have that,
between
right?
different departments. Yeah.
Right. Have you worked at all with the local school districts, especially the career services or even their industrial ed teachers? If you draw a circle around where your business is and do like a 30-mile or 45-mile radius and reaching out to those school districts, because we're right on that cusp of all these students graduating. And how do you reach out? How do you reach out to them and talk with them and build that rapport and relationship with them?
Yeah.
And you know, Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, at this time, I've only reached out to the industrial ed teacher here at RCW in Renville, and he talked with the students, posted it in the classroom, and more or less, asked them if they're interested, because we're looking for, possibly seasonal help too, just to kind of allow us to catch up. So at this time, it's just through RCW. We are looking at.
Brandon, just a thought that I had is, are you able to go into the classroom and share versus having the teacher share it, or invite his class to come on a tour? Because I think that makes a bigger impact than just the teacher posting and sharing that information.
Sure. Yeah, it's we've talked about that. I know it gets a little tricky having the students come onto our site, especially during working hours, because I think there's some age limitations, 18 and older, if you're in, a production area. So I mean, we can give that some thought. I know it's only a couple weeks away.
Too, Brandon, of doing a virtual tour that you can then share with the schools, and then maybe have someone who's working on the line talk about what it's like to work there, and being able to share that video, and you can put that on your social media. You can share that with any schools, but creating a virtual tour of your business might also help.
Sure. Yep.
Yep. And that's your pipeline, is that youth group, especially with that skill set, Brandon. And maybe even offering a certain type of scholarship for a school, even if it's, $250 or $500 to somebody who's going on to some type of technical education, building that rapport and relationship, not only with the school, but with those students. Another thing too is to reach out to those adult basic education teachers, or the ABE, which is also through the school district, and really talking with them about the programs that they're offering, and if there's an opportunity for you to speak to them or to develop that rapport or relationship with those students.
Sure.
That's where I would start.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Other questions for Della or questions for Bridget? And we should also mention, I can't remember if somebody brought it up, but prior to this meeting, we were chatting, Renville County HRA EDA is helping put together, we're planning a job hiring event coming up in August, and I'm pulling up my calendar. Any of you folks remember the date right off the top of my head, or off of your head, sorry?
10th.
August 10th. Going to be in Renville at the community center. So we'll, if you're interested in participating, zip us an email, let us know. We'll be reaching out to businesses probably in about a month or so from now, starting to get the ball rolling. And even if you aren't able to make it, we're gonna try to put together what we're calling the community table. So even if you can't have a booth there, get us info over. We're happy to staff it for you and try to point job prospects your way. So know that that's coming up. And if you're not following us on social media, our Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter pages, please feel free to do so. We'll keep you posted as that moves along. But if you don't hear anything from us in a month or so, put a tickler on your calendar to reach out, and we'll happily get you connected and see what we can do to assist you on that as well. So last call for questions from Della, or for Della or Bridget. With that, want to thank our speakers today. Want to thank all of you for attending. This event was recorded. I know there was a request to put the slides. It'll probably be tomorrow or Friday, getting them on our website, which is renville.com. Feel free to check back for that. We'll also be putting this on social media, links to this as well, for folks that may have missed it, or if you want to come back and hear the fine print on a few things, a great opportunity. So again, thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Della. And thanks to all of our attendees. Have a great day, and we'll see you next month for our Renville County Lunch and Learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.